The message today is you are the light of the world. I wanted to start by preaching on some basic things about the Christian life. Last week we saw that you are the salt. Everybody remember the message last week? You are the salt of the world. This week it is you are the light of the world. Jesus preached the simple messages because what happened now, we have people who have big heads. They know a lot about God, but they forget the very principle. These little things, you are the salt, you are the light. And you see that it says, be the light. We will be reading from Matthew chapter 5, verse 14 to 16. It says, you are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden, nor do they light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a lampstand, and it gives light to all who are in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. Let your light, let's say that with me, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. In Matthew chapter 5, commonly known as the Sermon on the Mount, there are 3 chapters, 5, 6, and part of 7, that we call Sermon on the Mount. Jesus places several lines of distinction between Christians and non-Christians. If you call yourself a Christian, it's not just a title to make you look good. But Jesus says, if you follow in me, something must be done in you. A transformation work must be done in you so that people can see you as light. People can see you as salt. Elements that you cannot live without. Last week we saw that Christians are the salt to this tasteless, dull world that we live in. Jesus wants us to maintain our saltiness, meaning our faith, our testimony, our positive influence toward the world, the people of the world. There's no question about it. There's a lot of confusion now because people love the title of being called Christians. For some reason, it looks like morality is tagged to it. It looks like dignity is tagged to when somebody says, I'm a Christian. But when you follow their deeds, when you follow how they move, how they maneuver in life, and that's when the confusion comes. Say that you're Christian, live like a Christian are 2 different things. And Jesus says you are the salt of this world. And if the salt loses its saltiness, its season, he'll cast you out. If we allow our taste to be faded away, shame and rejection will follow. This week we are seeing another allegory of Jesus picturing Christians as the light of the world. That's a big title. If somebody call you know, before you came, this whole place was dark. Now that you come, light has come. Wouldn't you like somebody to think that way of you? Everything was so dark until so-and-so shows up. By implication, this world is a place of complete spiritual darkness. And a lot of the time we expect this world to behave well. If you live in certain places that were influenced by Christianity, like the United States, we find a lot of things in society that look so good. It even felt like a Christian nation. It was not a Christian nation, but it's a nation that adopted a lot of the Christian principles. But all of these are living. All of these things we took for granted, they're living one by one by the back door. And what we see right here in this country It's getting really dark, really, really dark. You have a little piece, an instrument in your hand. With that instrument, you can do so many sins. You don't even have to kick somebody or punch somebody. Just with the phone, you can sin so many sins. It's so available to you. But Jesus says, you are the light. I'm seeing you as the light. The world was not always a place of darkness, but when mankind fell in sin, the whole physical world became doomed as a result. It became dull, but it wasn't always so. The world became that way after we sinned, because our sin, the implication of our sin, has affected the whole world. Christians represent the only way of light to guide the inhabitants of this world back to God. Christians represent the only hope God has, that God has. The only ambassadors, the only salesmen that God has on earth are Christians. Who else is going to talk about God except Christians? Yes. If you live in a developing country, it's hard to imagine the effect of the absence of light. Yeah, light is everywhere. I mean, in Haiti, when I was growing up, we didn't, much places didn't have electricity. And in the places that had it, they didn't give it all the time. Sometimes you'll have it at night, sometimes you'll have it at day, sometimes for 3 hours. But in the neighborhood where I grew up, when I went to Port-au-Prince, that's not where I grew up, but I spent some time going to school in Port-au-Prince. But when they give that electricity, the light goes on immediately, and then the whole neighborhood where I lived say, "Why?" Everybody say, "Why?" together. It's like they gave it. Because without the light, everything was terrible until the light comes. And even in certain places where there's no light, but at night, in clear nights, you can see the skies illuminated by the brightness of the stars, the moon, and everything. I remember a story. I mean, several times that happened when I was growing up. I was always, we always had a flashlight. Flashlight. If you don't have several things, I don't even know their name in English, but you have to have lights, and close by. But when I was growing up, we had a donkey, and that donkey was my responsibility when I'm in vacation to take care of the donkey. That means during the day, untie the donkey, bring it to the river, and bring it back, to drink the water and then back. But when you're in vacation, you're a teenager, donkey is not in your mind at all. So I'll spend all my day playing, and then sometime I forget that poor donkey. I often forget that poor donkey. But the person who entrusts me to take care of that donkey is my father. My father is a rigid man. So when he come back, sometimes he come back real late from work, and when he comes back, even if I'm asleep, he'll wake me up to ask me one question. Did you take care of that donkey? That's not a question I like to answer at all. You see, I would love to give him a lie at that point so that he will leave me alone. But he's still going, even if I say yes, he's still going to go and check. And the thing with the donkey is that if I really take care of it, I cannot tie it in the same place. You see, I have to tie it somewhere else. So there's no way I can lie. He knows where the donkey was today. He knows where the donkey should be the next day. So at times, sometimes, and I always have to say the truth. And sometimes I give that donkey that water real late in the afternoon, before instead of noontime. But I'm not doing it because I have mercy on the donkey. I just do it for my father. My father is my problem. You can tell I hated that donkey. But And there are times when I say, no, I forgot to do that. And then my father would say, okay, let's go now. Now will be 9 o'clock p.m. Now could be any time. We go now. And you know, for the fun of it, he's walking with the flashlight. I'm walking, very close to him because it's really pitch black. And when we get to the woods where it's really scary, in Haiti you heard stories, he'll turn off the flashlight for the fun of it. At this point, I'm hysterical. I say, you can whoop me if you want, please put the flashlight on. I didn't care getting bitten, because when you walk in and that flashlight make the trees look like they're coming after you. It's like everything is involved. And I was never amused. That was the fun that he got out of it, to make me do this thing so late. But I was never amused. Okay? I would beg him, whoop me if you wish, instead of turning off that light, because that light was my only hope to see what I was doing. It felt like the trees turned to monsters, and then they walking toward you. And that was the most horrifying moment of my childhood, because of my vivid fear of darkness. Imagine a world with no sun, no moon, no stars, no daylight, just darkness all the time. In a world of complete darkness, light becomes the most craved for element for navigation, for security, for cooking, for reading, for safety. You need the light. And the allegory Jesus is saying, he says, you are that light in a world of pitch darkness. You are there. You are the only light. In John chapter 1, Jesus is stated to be the light that came from the world, that came to the world, coming from God. But the world preferred the darkness. You see, that's the problem. You have the solution. Do they want the solution? The world preferred the darkness. Right now, you could go to somebody. You have the light. You could give them the right advice. They'll turn it down because they prefer the darkness. John 3 verse 19 says, and this is the judgment. The judgment is that the light has come into the world, and men love darkness rather than light because their deeds were evil. See, darkness is a safe haven for a lot of people. See, the same way some love light, it's the same way some love darkness. So for everyone who does evil, hates the light, and does not come to the light, lest his deed be exposed, be revealed. But he who does what is true comes to the light, that it may be clear that his deeds have worked in God. Christians are the light of the world. When we become Christians, we share the divine nature of Christ. We become light. We partake in that. We become light like Jesus. The light of Jesus emanates in us, and we become like Jesus. Jesus says to his disciple, you are the light of the world. And that means Jesus is not up talking about electricity. He's not talking about the sun, because God is light. God is life. From God comes of life. Outside of God is death. And then Christians receive Christ. They receive God. They receive the light. And Jesus says, you are the light of the world. Meaning that the world will be looking up to us, to you, Christian, to you and me, for orientation, for truth, for illumination, for enlightenment, and for sense of purpose. The world will always be looking at us because we have the light. Back in the days when Christians used to do what's right, people always look at Christians. I grew up, I had fairly good testimony growing up, and I didn't even like it. But parents always used to tell their sons, be like Mark. They didn't know my secret sins. I was not that good of but I was not that bad of a sinner, but I was not as good as they portrayed me to be. But they will always use me as an example. Why can't you be like him? That's how much people are looking for light. You're looking for somebody to say, be like so-and-so. Be the light. Show the light. John 8:12 says, when Jesus spoke again to the people, he said, I am the light of this world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have light. Jesus promised that if we're with him, we are in the light. And that's why every time you do something contrary to the word of God, your entire system is in trouble because you are light. As light, that doesn't make sense anymore. You see, if the light is on and you're bumping on things, if the light is turned on and I'm bumping on the pulpit, what does that mean? I have eyesight problem, right? But if the light is not on, it's pitch black, it's not my fault if I bump into things. Jesus said, you are the light. You have the light in you. In John 12:36, Jesus says, while you have the light, believe in the light, that you may become sons of light. If you believe in Jesus, you can become sons of light. Ephesians 5:8-9 says, for once you were darkness. See, this is the thing. You were darkness once. Before we became Christians, we were darkness. But now, what are we? We are light in the Lord. And as Christians, our children of light, what's expected of us is walk as children of light. For the fruit of the light is found in all that is good and right and true. That's why you cannot be a Christian and do whatever you are. If you do whatever you want. If you are a Christian, it's not normal anymore. When you tell a lie and you feel good, you cannot feel good after telling a lie anymore. You cannot be vengeful and and for it to feel good anymore. You cannot be unforgiving and feel good about it anymore. You cannot be disrespectful and feel good about it anymore, because your nature had been changed from darkness to light. If you are in the light, the evidence will be in how you walk. You need to walk in the light. For the fruit of the light is found, and that is good, right, and truth. And some of you don't have kids, but the adults that are here, they have kids. Nothing gives a parent more pride when people are talking positive about their children. I mean, a parent would pay for that if they could, to have their children have such behavior when people are taking example about who's doing it well, who did good parenting, who's showing good parenting, and then they will pick your kid. Why? And then the parent will feel happy because they feel that they didn't waste their effort, because you walk in the principle that the house gave you. And nothing crushed the heart of a parent when a child comes out and display exactly the contrary of what they receive in the home. It's confusion. And sometimes they do something, people say that I don't know where they got it from. It's not from their parent. I know some parent, they say, I did all I can. I whooped this kid so bad. I tried to, some parents says, I really did my job. It's not my fault. And then when you go out there, you are light and you walk as children of light. And then the light is shining. People cannot deny your presence. People will say, where did you get it? And they say, he must be a Christian. I like when they discover he must be a Christian. I was working in a place, and this guy was exceptionally greedy, because it's a work that you can do. You can make more money if you're very aggressive. This guy was more aggressive than everybody, always mean and tight. and he smoked a cigar. I don't know, the worst cigar that you can find. You can be distances away. That cigar is killing you. And so I never see of this guy as a Christian. Are you following? Thank you. I never see a Christian in this guy because he didn't display any signs of being a Christian. And one day I was sharing the gospel with somebody, and then he took the conversation from me. I mean, he's going at it, it's going. I said, "You're a Christian?" Because I was so shocked. "You're a Christian?" He said, "You can't tell? You can't tell? I've been working with this guy for over a year." "No, I can't tell when you're blowing that smoke all the time, and you're so greedy, and you're so always trying to get ahead." You see, he thought that he displayed that light, but he didn't display that, dispense that light. First Thessalonians 5 verse 5 says, "Fool, you are all sons of light and sons of the day. You are not of the night nor of darkness." So anytime you see yourself doing things of the darkness, things that glorify Satan, you got to tell yourself, "I'm not supposed to do that. That's not my nature." Light and darkness cannot be mixed. Light must overcome the darkness. Light eliminates the darkness. The light must shine to chase away the darkness. The light must be placed above to overshadow the darkness. The light must be exposed. The light must lead the way. No, there's no question about it. If you are light, people are not going to like you. Because you think you all that. That you feel that every time you're trying to be godly, people say you think you all that. You think you're better than everybody. It's not like you think you are better than everybody. God expects you to be better than everybody. You understand? It's not an attitude that I'm better than everybody. It's not an attitude. God expects you to be better than everybody. God expects you to lead the way because you are the light. Being in the light is not an empty statement, but it must be evidence in your deeds. What do you do when you listen to what do you do? What do you do? What do you listen to? What do you watch? How do you think? What do you believe? What do you approve or disapprove? Approve must be in line with the light in you. Let me rephrase that. Everything you do, if the light is in you, the light guides you. Nowadays, society is forcing us to accept different things. Different things. They come now. You need to be enlightened. This is the 90s. It's not the 90s. It's not the 60s. Now, in 2022, people think differently. You should be enlightened. And then the enlightenment they're asking you to do is away from what the Bible, the standard of the Bible, the precept of the Bible. The Bible doesn't change. The Bible is already light. But some people would like to enlighten you, give you a new style of life, a new way of living. They want to give you an alternative. And if you do not accept the new wave of philosophy, they say you're in the back, you're in the shadow. But who's in the shadow? Who's in the light? You see, you kill a baby inside of you, you say, no, it's not a baby. What is it that you kill inside of you? It's a fetus. What's a baby? How does a baby start? What's the start of a baby? What's the ground foundation of a human life? Except that it starts in the belly, it grows. But to make them feel that they didn't kill, they say it's just a fetus. And if you don't say it that way, you're not in the light. To the light of this world, the light of this world is darkness. The light of God says, it is a human being that you kill, and God says, do not kill. The benefits of the light, if you are in the light, the Bible says a city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden, nor do they light a lamp and put it under a basket. But they put it on a lampstand, and it gives light. The benefit of the light, it gives light to all who are in the house. Light yields energy. Light provides clarity. Light gives directions. Light protects from danger. Light displays beauty. Light reveals the truth. Light cancels out fear. Maybe you came here, you thought there were so much other things here. When you put the light, you see there was nothing. It cancels out fear. Light protects from intruders. Light chases away thieves and criminals. Light renders darkness powerless. Light favors the truth. When you put the light, it's so that you can see for real. Light always loves truth. Darkness doesn't like truth. The light must shine and not shine. If let your light so shine before men that you may see your good work and glorify your Father in heaven. A hidden light is of no effect to its environment. If you put a flashlight, sometimes I do that. I'm fixing a car at night, and I use the flashlight in my cell phone. And sometimes the flashlight will fall upside down, and then where I cannot see anything out of it. And all of a sudden I'm looking for the flashlight. I'm looking everywhere for the flashlight because the light in it is upside down. So a light cannot be hidden. If it's hidden, it's of no effect to its environment. The very purpose of light is to shine. Light doesn't care what darkness thinks of it. Listen to me. I know peer pressure. And this morning, Sister Marianne just spoke about affirmation. See, you're not going to get affirmation for being a light. If you're light, can I say that again? If you're light, don't expect affirmation. But the light doesn't care about what darkness thinks. Light is not worried about standing alone. Light prides itself to its uniqueness and to the services it renders to others. That's what light happy. You see, you can have this world full of darkness. We put one light on, it changes the whole atmosphere. The light loves that. Light loves being that important. But if you feel darkness is going to think I'm all that, and then you don't want to shine your light, then you're a failure to, based on the standard that God wanted you to have. Be aware that light will not be loved by everyone. Jesus said it, we said it earlier, and this is a judgment that the light has come in the world, and men love darkness rather than the light because their deeds were evil. For everyone who does evil hates the light and does not come to the light, lest his deed shall be exposed. But he who does what is true comes to the light, that it may be clearly seen that his deeds have been worked in God. There are people who prefer darkness over the light because of the nature of their deeds. Thieves hate lights, criminals hate lights, rodent, rat, cockroaches, they hate lights. Once you put the light, they're running away. They were having a feast until you put the light on. See? And when you turn the light off, party again. See? So criminal, that's why the cities are illuminated, because to chase away criminal, every time they see light. And there are other people who practice voodoo. They love darkness. They love darkness. Some places they say they will never let people put electricity there because all their work are works of darkness. Darkness is a safe haven for all sorts of unlawful activities. God is glorified. God says, let your light so shine that he may be glorified when they see your good works. See, if you did your work in school, they ask you to do a show and tell. You go to work, you go to your house, you prepare your little craft. You want the teacher to see it, don't you? Yes. If you go and you prepare, you draw a nice drawing, you want the teacher to see it. What if you didn't prepare? You don't want the teacher to see it. Sometimes they ask, when I was in school a little, and sometimes when I don't do well in the subject, and then people have to show what they did, I'm always so glad when the time comes and they didn't get to mine. But if I did it well and they didn't get to mine, I feel disappointed. I did all that work, I did get the attention. But when I did do the work, I'm so happy. So when you do right, God is glorified. The brilliance of your light indicates the level of your intimacy with God. We don't all enjoy the same intimacy with God. To be in the light is no small affair. It's a big business to be in the light. The light must shine all the time. The Lord, to shine, you're spending a lot of energy to shine all the time. God is very proud of all his children who are making the effort to walk in the light in this generation of darkness. You are alone. Back in the days, you had so many people to help you. Some of you are fighting. You don't even have parents as example. Some of you are fighting. You don't even have a person next to you that you can look up to. You're the only light. And your light is going dim. You want it to be a high beam. You want it to be stronger. But it's like the darkness is consuming you. But you stay in the light. God is very proud of his children who stay in the light. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works. Don't worry if they see your good works. You don't need to go, hey, look at my good work. They'll say it by themselves. If you do too much, hey, look at me, it turns people off. But they will see your good work. If you cannot reach the whole world with your light, try to brighten your neighborhood. You see, my light, I want my light to be so highly lifted that the whole world will see the light. But maybe I'm not going to reach that. Maybe if I take my light high enough, I can reach my neighborhood. I can reach my street. If your light is not so bright to reach the whole city, but you can reach your street. If not, then brighten your own house as a start. But you cannot afford to say you with God and not shine. And that's what we have, this generation of Christians who are not making any difference. Because whatever we see in the world, give it less than a decade, it's also in the church. Whatever lifestyle you see people do, give it some time, it's already in the church. People, they buy the pant, and then they put a big hole in it, and strap it, and strap it, and strap it. Why would you do that? You put the edge on the pant, and then before you know it, people are preaching with it. I see a Christian artist whom I love to hear. She sings so really good songs. And she has a concert. She has that jean with a big hole in it. I was so turned off. That's something I expect to see in the world. If you did something so good, people should start imitating you instead of you imitating them. If you know your light, you don't go around trying to look like darkness. If you're light, you need to be proud of yourself. I'm the light. I'm the only light there. And I'm proud. God expects me to be the light. But if you don't want to stand alone, you think darkness, you don't want to insult darkness, you are a light and you care about insulting darkness. You see what I mean? The darkness doesn't care about you. You are a light. You will insult darkness. You don't have to say anything. You just to be on. And darkness will have to flee because you are the light. You are the light of this world, and God is counting on you to shine everywhere that you are. May God bless you.